Welcome in, everyone. Today we are going to do a little different thing. And the reason for this is because the last couple weeks I've been struggling a little bit already with content for the channel. And one of the things I promised myself was that I was going to bring pieces of myself to this channel. And when I was really young, I lived at my grandma's for, I don't know, at least a year, maybe longer. But during the time I was at my grandma's, I had a bucket, an ice cream bucket, and my day consisted of me going on adventures by myself and filling my bucket with all of these treasures that I found. And then at the end of the day, I would come home and share with my grandma all of the treasures that were in my bucket. And that's a little bit how I want to do this channel. Bring that part of myself into it and share with you things that connect with me that I really think are also going to connect with you on a deeper level. And today we are talking about how nature communicates with us and the relationship, the sacred relationship between ourselves and nature. And when we honor the sacredness between ourselves and nature, how that becomes sort of a line of communication, an open line of communication, that if you want answers for something, you will get answers. If you have questions and you put them out there, you need support in a certain way, it'll come back to you. You'll see signs, you'll see things that really speak to you and bring you clarity, bring you guidance, those sort of things. And I'm starting with spider, I guess, today because of a couple of reasons. First of all, because I've been seeing old spider webs everywhere lately and cleaning them off. Even just this morning, that was a major project. I was cleaning out spider webs outside, not in the house, but outside, and really kind of just connecting into the message that carries and was trying to bring to me. And I guess that one of the ways, and I'm going to share this book with you because it's hard to see because of the sheen on the top of this book. This is one of my all-time favorite, and just, I love this book so much. It's called Animals Speak, and it's by Ted Andrews. And he really goes into great depth about how nature communicates with us. And spider spirit, beginning with this today, aside from the fact that I have been seeing them old webs everywhere, I want to take you back to a story from when I was very young again. And you may have experiences like this that you have kind of lodged in your memory. So after we get done with today's video, you can kind of look back across your own life and see if there's any really significant animal encounters that you have had in your past and how you can try to look into what that might mean to you on a deeper level. And so when I was super young, I really don't know how old I was. If I had to guess, I would say about 11, maybe 9, 10, 11, somewhere around there. And we, as a family, went to an auction. And because I was the age I wasn't really interested in this, the stuff. So it happened to be an auction that was out in the country somewhere, and there was a lot of other kids there. And we were kind of all running around out in the fields. I think it was some kind of an old farm. And I just remember kind of exploring around this place by myself. And I saw this old little shed. And I remember going over to this little old shed, and in the corner, I saw the biggest spider I've ever seen in my life. Probably still to this day, I swear. Or maybe it was just because as a child, it seemed so gigantic. And anyways, this spider was on its web, and I remember feeling this fear just go through my body. And not really because I was afraid the spider was going to get me. I guess I really don't have an explanation for the fear that I held, except for that spiders were a little scary, especially as a kid. And I think we're kind of taught to believe that these things carry some kind of fear, that some kind of, reason that we should be afraid of them. And now, as I'm older, this has really just become a huge communication of truth within myself. And like I said, as you navigate through the process of integrating this practice into your life, you'll get better and better at it, and you'll read things more and more. You'll see how they synchronize with who you are as a person. And so with Spider, so I'm going to touch base on, this is a lot of what Ted Andrews has talked about in his book. And the question that Spider brings up is, are you weaving your dreams and your imaginings into reality? The spider is all about creativity and the weaving of our fate. And so in Scandinavian mythology, for example, women who would weave, measure, and cut the threads of life. Native Americans, it is a link to the past and the future, and also maintaining balance between the physical and the spiritual world, and the male and the female aspects of ourself. And this is because the body of the spider is sort of like a figure 8. So there's that essence of balance there. And that's why I also chose this fan today with the spiral, because there really is an essence of the spiral of life really being woven into our existence. And on the spider's web, we definitely see that. And so, sort of back into the story, a spider found within its web reminds us that we are the center of our own world. Back to the spider I saw when I was a young child. And it also tells us that we are the keepers and the writers of our own destiny, weaving it like a web by our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions. And that is the spiral of the web. And if you think about the web, and this is just an example of a dream catcher, a good symbolism of a spider's web. And when a spider weaves a web, there's all these little fractals. And each of those fractals are, if you kind of connect them into what I just quoted out of his book about how we're weaving our destiny by our thoughts and our feelings and our actions. And so each thought, each feeling, each action, all of these pieces are how we weave our reality. And on the Spider Spirit card, again, back to that, it says, Spider Spirit, making your dreams real. Make your dreams real. And this is what I've touched upon before in the sense of imagining and dreaming and being in that place where you're aligned with joy and tapping into that creative aspect of yourself, because anytime you're aligned with God, you're aligned with creativity. And I know a lot of you out there will probably say you're not very creative, and I disagree, because we all have aspects of creativity that we are good at. And so even if yours isn't painting or creating something on an artistic level, maybe it's writing, that's still artistic. Maybe it's decorating a space, that's artistic. Maybe it is planning, and there's such a multitude of ways that we can be creative. Maybe you're creative with numbers. I mean, there's just infinite ways that we can be creative in our world today. And so it's really important for us to maintain a balance when we are getting communication from Spider, because again, back to my day this morning and just lately, seeing all these old spider webs, and this is why I chose this painting that I've started this painting, but I haven't finished it yet. And it took me a lot of time, and actually, really going out to find these old spider webs and then sort of collecting them in the fashion that I did and then getting them onto the canvas. So these are actual spider webs that I've collected. I did not paint these by hand. And really, this aspect of the spider webs, the old spider webs especially, right? And it's springtime and it's spring cleaning, and in the sense of our inner being, what do we need to get rid of? This is a question. This brings up the question of what inside of us no longer serves who we are in this moment. And that is something that you've got to look at all the time. Being authentic with yourself, truthful with yourself. And when those old things, those old webs, when they don't serve you anymore, letting those go. And that could be old beliefs, old feelings. There's so many things that when we think of spring cleaning within our own house, which I am talking about our body, our being, we need to go in and clean house and get rid of those old webs that don't serve us anymore, so that we can create a new version that will serve us and basically catch what we need and bring it into our lives. And so that's just what I wanted to share with you today, is really being aware of surroundings within yourself, within your world, taking a look at what's right in front of you. Now, it's not going to be spiders for everyone. It may be something different. And if you find that you're touching on whatever is coming into your reality, use your phone, look it up. What is the spiritual meaning of this thing? And there's so much information out there in regards to how those animals show up for you and what they mean. And they can show up on billboards, they can show up in a store, on a package. You know, it doesn't have to be a real life. However that shows itself to you, that is a message. It's a sign for you to look into deeper, to gain wisdom for your path, for your journey. And so that is really the basis of what I wanted to share with you today. Very simple, yet very profound, because when you sit with nature and you read into what does this carry for me as a message, you know, what message is in this for me, those messages can be life-changing. Those things are often there to show you things that you're not really seeing. And so even for me today, seeing the spider webs and clearing them out this morning, this was a prompt for me to really look at that in a direct reflection to my own life. And even with the videos that I've been recording so far, wanting to gain more authenticity and more transparency into who I am as a person and how I navigate life. And granted, this isn't for everyone. 100% I realize that. But even as an everyday person, if you're not super spiritual, there is messages coming in all the time for you. So just taking the time and the presence to look at those things, I am excited for what you might find, because I truly think that we all are seeing these messages daily and we just don't always pay attention. So this is your call to pay attention and even report back to me. I would love to hear what you're seeing in your reality and how you think that relates to what is going on within yourself, your life. So please, please come back and share if you feel called to do so. If you have questions about something that you're seeing, leave a post or a comment rather down below. And like the video, share the video, subscribe if you haven't already. And I really am looking forward to sharing more of these kind of things that give a little bit of a glimpse into my life as who I am as a person. Because really, I think everything is all about authenticity today in our world, because there is such a lack in authenticity. And it is really, really so important for us all to really start connecting into that authentic version of ourselves. And so with that, I will leave it there. I am sending so much love to you all. Thank you so much for listening today. And until next time.